remaining minutes, no further we will allow. We will just start it. Yes.
Okay. Sheetal bhai, now we have crossed 160. Let us start the event.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, namaste. Myself Sheetal Shah, on behalf of IPA Ahmedabad Chapter, I welcome you all. Thank you for your time. We already have 475 registration for this session, and already more than 200 participants are on with our webinar. In this scenario, we must wish you all the good wishes for you and your family. Be safe, be healthy. In this particular situation, I must recommend one medicine to you, and that medicine name is compassion. Even WHO recommend compassion is a medicine. Compassion means karuna. Karuna is a very important part in our day-to-day life, and this is the real time. We have to करुणा की ज्योत हमें जगाए रखनी है. हमारे में कहा जाता है कि गैरों के आंसू पोंछने वाले को कभी ऊपर वाला आंसू नहीं देता. तो बी सेफ, बी हेल्पफुल. आप अपने फैमिली का ध्यान रखिए. टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ, योर स्टाफ, योर कम्युनिटी, एंड this is the time we have to be strong. Before we start this seminar, this webinar, I must invite our EC Executive Committee member, Mr. Habil Bhai, for the welcome address. Over to Habil Bhai.
Thank you, Sheetal Bhai. Very good evening, and welcome you all on behalf of IPA Ahmedabad Chapter. This is the 10th session of technical webinar series on plumbing. We are having this kind of series every alternate Saturday, and we will be informing you in near future our own series of webinars. And all these series are recorded, and you can have it, you can view it on the IPA website. So, under the roof of Indian Plumbing Association, there are many activities related to plumbing. One is I Save Water. Last year, this was started, and IPA achieved 1.33 crore liter of water of saving. I mean to say, this we achieved saving 1.33 crore liters of water in 2019. This year, we are targeting 500 crores of liters saving. To achieve this, we need your participation and support. Secondly, IPA has also planned 27th Indian Plumbing Conference at Pune. So if everything goes well, and we wish, so it is planned on 4th and 5th of December 2020. So these are the series of events which will be going on through the time. But now we are having virtual webinars, and it will be continuing through different on different subjects. IPA got a tremendous success last 3 years in organizing Indian Plumbing Professional League. So because of COVID-19, as you know, we cannot have a personal training session. So it will be launched, IPA will be launching soon a new format with a higher target. So we wish you all to have more and more participation in this event, and it will we are very sure that it will be a very informative and educative. IPA has also launched a new membership category that is called professional membership for 3 years. It is just for rupees 3,500 plus GST. It is also convertible into life membership by paying a differential amount. To keep you up to date with all IPA activities, IPA has launched its e-newspaper since last month, along with IPT, that is Indian Plumbing Magazine. This will give you synopsis of past activities and news of previous months. So you can get it virtually on your email or on the website too. And IPA has also launched COVID-19 guidelines, which is also available on IPA website. So this was the overview of the IPA activities. Over to Sheetal Bhai. Thank you.
Yes, very interesting information. Thank you very much, Habil Bhai.
Sheetal bhai, we will share one video for professional membership.
Okay.
Sheetal bhai, you can continue now.
Yes. Thank you very much, Minesh Bhai. Thank you very much, Habil Bhai. It is a very informative information. And today's webinar is sponsored by Hulyot Pipes and Fitting Private Limited. We welcome Mr. Tarun Gurani from Hulyot Pipes and Fittings Private Limited. Over to you, Tarun Bhai, for your sponsorial presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sheetal sir. So can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, it is visible and you are audible.
On behalf of Hulyot, I thank IPA Ahmedabad to give us an opportunity to present our smart solution for sewage treatment, recycling and reuse, whose prime objective is to produce an ultra-filtered treated water with no odor and no color, supporting Swachh Bharat mission. Before we talk about the solution, let's discuss what is the problem. Yeah, so sorry, there was a technical hitch. So we'll just look at the problem, which is the water management scenario in India. If you see the figure on the right, it shows that the government data of India showing that a whooping 63% of sewage in India still goes untreated. And the World Resources Institute ranking India as the 13th most water stressed country in the world. So at the end, we see we have two problems: water stress on one side and untreated sewage on the other side. Whereas a 2018 Niti Aayog study estimating that 21 Indian cities will run out of water by 2020. Now we all know COVID-19, water is the most important factor in fighting this pandemic, and this has increased the clean water demand by 25%. So if we keep two problems on one table, we'll realize that sewage recycling and reuse is the best symbiotic solution for optimized use of freshwater resources and saving them by getting polluted simultaneously. And I'm not only advocating this, there are several countries who have already executed the solution by reusing the principles of reusing the sewage on the principles of circular economy. Sir, Manish sir, I have a problem that I am unable to change the slides.
You are unable to. Okay, what I can do is I can share your presentation on your behalf. Just wait. You just You just stop sharing.
Yes, sir.
Just a second. I'll start sharing.
Yes.
Hope the screen is visible now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this slide I was talking about, that this is a data of year 2010, where we can see several countries are already reusing their treated wastewater on the principles of circular economy, where the focus is on resource recovery and turning the sanitation from a costly operation to adding value to the economy. So next. So on this lines, we want to introduce our solution. The product name is Clear Black, and the purpose is purify sewage back to reuse. So basically, it's a sewage recycling system based on the advanced MBR technology, able to recover the wastewater to fresh water again for a number of uses, which are mostly non-potable in nature. The system is designed real smart as it operates automatically with a real-time monitoring system that displays the actual plant performance on your smartphone screen. The picture which you are seeing in the bottom is the actual picture of a running plant, which can be operated and monitored from anywhere in the world in the internet on your phone. So next, please. So this is an overall process block diagram that the system, the sewage when enters goes through a screen chamber and an oil and grease chamber for removal of solids and oil and grease, and is collected in a collection tank from where it is pumped to the Clear Black system, which renders it treated and with a odor-free, color-free, disinfected output for use in the treated water storage tank. And sludge is drained to the sludge drying bed, or it can be dried mechanized also. So next, please. This is how the system works. The sewage pump enters the first a fine screen where all the solids larger than 2 mm are separated. Then it enters the anoxic tank where all the compounds of nitrogen contributing to the pollution are treated. Then it enters the aerobic tank, which is provided with an aeration system where BOD and COD components are removed. And lastly, it enters the MBR tank where all the water is ultra filtered and we get a highly clean water at the outlet. The sludge in the MBR tank is recirculated back to the anoxic tank. So next slide, please. So basically the principle is that Clear Black combines the well-known biological activated sludge process with its remarkable ultrafiltration membrane system to deliver an excellent quality of output water with 100% recovery available for reuse. And the treatment process strictly adheres to the revised norms of NGT of India with a BOD of less than 10 ppm, COD less than 50, total nitrogen less than 10, and fecal coliform less than 100. If you see the picture on the right, there is a sewage inlet, and on the left is sewage inlet, on the extreme right is treated water quality, and it is a odorless, colorless, and disinfected water which won't be able to distinguish with the clean water or the drinking water itself. Next, please. If we talk about sludge management, it is minimal, almost 1/3 of the conventional systems, and sludge wasting can be carried out in long intervals of 30 to 60 days. There is also an option of additional fully automatic multi-disc press for sludge dewatering, and this is provided with a self-cleaning mechanism and requires no manual intervention in the dewatering process, unlike the filter press and decanter equipments. The power consumption is also very low, between 0.2 to 0.5 kilowatt, and noise level operations are also less than 65 decibels. The dried sludge can be disposed or processed or reused in lawns as per the local authority norms. Next, please. This system has a particular advantage in pandemic situations like COVID-19. As I said, it is completely automated, so we don't need to deploy a 24/7 person over there. And the operations can be monitored from your home itself, working from home. No need to go regularly to check the site. And the third main advantage is that it is equipped with an ultrafiltration system, which is helpful in restricting most of the bacteria and many of the viruses in the treated water. So next, please. If we see the application of the system, it is in industries where buying fresh water is a costly affair, because this is a twin solution, not just for sewage treatment, but also for recycling. And the hotels, hospitals, malls, commercial and residential projects where there is a space concern, because this is the lowest footprint solution with the kind of quality it is delivering. In the remote areas where going daily and accessing manual operation is different. And in the decentralized area, which have no connectivity to the centralized STPs. So next, please. If we analyze, the FABV stands for features, advantages, benefits, and value proposition. So features include 100% treated water recovery, the automated complete operation with IoT connectivity and smartphone touchscreen connectivity to the STP, no tertiary treatment required, and we don't need 24/7 skilled operators at site. The advantages being the output is a odor-free, color-free, disinfected water, perfectly safe to handle and reuse in non-potable applications. The space requirement is also lower, which is 50 to 60% less than the conventional systems. The power consumption is also less, which is 20% less than the conventional systems, and also the chemical consumption. As we saw, the operation is easy, maintenance is also easy, and sludge management is also easy. Benefits include this product is built with an return on investment less than 5 years. We guarantee that, and treated water can be reused. How it is facilitated by treated water reuse in flushing, floor washings, gardening, industrial processes like cooling tower and boiler makeup, etc. So there is a lot of savings on energy because of low power consumption. Value proposition is that we are saving the freshwater resources for next generations, and we have available on-site treatment, recycle and reuse of available wastewater with the savings on life cycle costs. So next, please. So everyone over here is are very well-known and wise people. So it's my personal request to everyone to see wastewater as a resource to achieve a circular economy. We all are the drivers of it. And I would request to let's join hands and save water for our future generations. Thank you. And thank you once again, IPA, for allowing this to present at your platform. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tarun Bhai. Thank you very much. It is a good presentation by Hulliard Pipes and Fitting Private Limited. We thank you for your support to the IPA Ahmedabad chapter. And now today's webinar is on do's and don'ts of plumbing, part 1. Speaker is Subhash Deshpande ji. He don't require any introduction as such, but still, Subhash Deshpande is a plumbing engineer, a member of IPA Technical Committee, a past chairman of IPA Pune Chapter. He retired as a Director Plumbing International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, India, IFMO India known as. Utilizing his experience and expertise, his untiring effort continue in plumbing education and developing plumbing labs across India. Above all, he is a simple personality and he defined plumbing in a simple way too. So let's enjoy and learn do's and don'ts of plumbing part 1 by Subhash ji. Over to Subhash ji.
Yes.
Thank you, Shital Bhai.
Yes, welcome, sir.
કઈ વાંધો નથી. અત્યારે રહેવા દો ને ચરણ પછી એ તો જોઈ લઈશું.
Request all
થોડા રૂમમાં અત્યારે એક પંપ અલગથી જોઈ નહીં શકાય એવું કહે ને ના છે એમાં મેન્યુઅલ સિસ્ટમ પણ
પ્લીઝ તમારું માઇક મ્યુટ કરો.
આપણે તો
Okay, namaste and good evening to everyone. So we'll look at the do's and don'ts of plumbing today. We'll focus on the practical problems faced during the planning, installation, construction, and maintenance of plumbing systems. We'll also discuss what is correct and what is incorrect method and suggest the right way to be followed for efficient, safe, and hygienic plumbing installations. Your participation is important. Please type your questions in the chat box. We'll try to answer most of them at the end of the session. The module of do's and don'ts actually covers fixtures and fittings, sanitary drainage, water supply, and installation methods. There are 4 parts. Out of that, today we will cover fixtures and fittings and sanitary drainage. So whatever we look at is basically part of the 2017 Uniform Illustrated Plumbing Code of India and 2017 Water Efficient Products India, WEPI, UIPCI and WEPI, that is the short form. These 2 codes are published by IPA India and IPA jointly. They are available. The hard copies are available. You can request either IPA or IPA for the copies. The third one is the India's own National Building Code of India, 2016 edition. And the last one is a Guide to Good Plumbing Practices, which is a publication of Indian Plumbing Association. This guide is available in, I think, more than 8 or 9 languages of India, though the basic original was made in English. So let us proceed. These are the reference codes and books. The setting distances, these are the minimum distances from the wall to the center of the plumbing fixture or from center to center of 2 plumbing fixtures when there is a battery of fixtures. There are dimensions are in millimeters and these are the minimum dimensions. If you have less than this, you are going to be in trouble because people cannot use the plumbing fixture properly. If you look at the water closet at the bottom, the minimum dimension is 800 by 1500, which is many times not available in Indian toilets. So I would request everyone to make sure that these are the minimum setting distances which are followed. The shower cubicle, the dimension is missing there, should be 800 by 800 is the minimum dimension for a shower cubicle. Okay, then the standard heights. These are the heights for India because the height depends on the people, the height of people in that particular country. And these are the heights from finished floor level to the rim of the wash basin or a sink, 800 to 850. For the shower mixer, it is 750 to 1000 and the shower head is 1800 to 2100. In case of WC, the height is 375 to 425. The height is without the seat and cover, because in many countries, for example, we have been to South Africa where they don't use seat and cover, which is actually the most unhygienic part of the WC, because that is never washed or cleaned. Though the bowl gets cleaned and actuator plate, which is generally chromium finished, is also cleaned. In case of WC, the height is from the finished floor level to the lip of the urinal. Okay, talking about plumbing fixtures and fittings and the toilets. If you have a sunken toilet floor, in order to accommodate a proper P trap, a floor trap, which is P trap, you need to have toilets sunk by 400 to 450 millimeters. Only in that case, you can install a P trap, which is an approved trap. If you don't want a sunken toilet floor, you can have a non-sunken floor with 2 core cuts for the waste pipes to come down, and then the drainage pipes are in the ceiling of the toilet below. And that pipe is covered with a false ceiling. Look at the ledge wall. If that ledge wall is not there, you are likely to damage the beam to take the waste pipe down into either the sunken floor or the floor below. There are of course multiple advantages of having a non-sunken toilet floor, because if there is any leakage in the drainage line, the maintenance is done within 10 minutes by removing the false ceiling plate at the bottom and attending the leakage. While planning the toilet, you must have dry and wet areas separated. The wet area at the center is not the most ideal situation. The wet area should be at the extreme end so that you don't cross the wet area while using the toilet. The toilet is used more often throughout the day than the shower area. Please note that the red cross is don'ts and green tick is the do's in plumbing. Ledge walls. Ledge walls are often required in planning the toilet, and the ledge walls should be shown during planning stage itself. For example, here on the left, the ledge wall is required to take the water supply pipe to the shower area or to whatever the tap. On the right is the section of the toilet where the ledge wall is required to take the waste pipe below the slab. You may also note that there is a working platform in the plumbing shaft and a cutout for taking the downtake pipes or riser pipes. Okay. Please note that in the plumbing shaft, all the downtake pipes, drainage and water supply pipes are in that cutout in the plumbing shaft, and there is a working platform which is orange in color. And most importantly, there is a trap door. Nowadays, we all have high-rise buildings, and it is impossible for a plumber to climb up or climb down into the plumbing shaft. And that's why this kind of working platform and a trapdoor at each floor level is important. There is a picture of the same site photo from our site where the cutout is there for all the downtakes. Also, the plumbing shaft should have natural light and ventilation as far as possible. So after going through the little bit of toilet planning, let us now go through some of the plumbing fixtures. For example, the European WC, it can be floor mounted or wall mounted. It can have a flush tank or a flush valve, or it may have a pneumatic flush tank, a low level flush tank, high level flush tank. All those possibilities are there. But what is important, what you should look for is that the bowl and the flush tank should be compatible to each other for the desired performance. If you buy a flush tank of some other company and a bowl of another company, the performance is not guaranteed. You cannot hold anyone responsible for the performance. By the way, what is performance? Performance is not only pushing the solids from the WC, but it is to clean the bowl and push the solids, and then carry the solids from WC to a desired distance, which is called as line carry. So that is the performance of a WC. If you reduce the flush tank volume to, let's say, 2 liters, maybe the solids will go away from the WC, but there is no line carry. So the flushing volume is also important for the proper line carry distance. The flush tank should have air gap at the inlet of the water so that there is no backflow happening from the used or damaged water into the water supply line. And the overflow should be into the bowl, not on the side. Your toilet should remain dry, even if there is some overflow from the flush tank. If you are using a flush valve, it should be used with the, if you have a reclaimed water, you should use flush valve preferably, so that there is no fear of any cross connection and contamination. When you select a flush valve, it should have atmospheric vacuum breaker, AVB, so that there is no backflow from the used water from the bowl. You have to ask for this thing specifically from the manufacturer or the supplier. When you have a concealed flush tank, do not try to install it in the partition wall. You are likely to make a through hole into the partition wall and damage it completely. You should have a ledge wall. 100 mm thick ledge wall is enough to conceal the flush tank, which is only about 88 millimeters thick. Always use a WC connector or adapter to install a water closet. The photo you are seeing is a direct collar of a UPVC pipe into which the WC is installed. But this is not the right way. There will be leakages. There will be some foul smell coming from the joint, because the joint between the ceramic body and the CPVC or UPVC pipe is not watertight or airtight. So you should always use a WC connector. They are available for floor mounted as well as wall mounted WCs. Okay, this is, I think, very important and generally overlooked by most of the people, that while installing a wall on WC, you have to use anchor fasteners or expansion bolts rather than screws, because otherwise the WC might fall down and there could be multiple injuries to the person sitting on the WC. To ensure that the anchor fasteners are bolted into concrete, you should have a concrete band where the bolts are coming, even if you have a masonry wall, so that the anchor fastener is not drilled into masonry or brick masonry, which will not work. The expansion in the brick is of no use. So first you have to drill, put the expansion fastener and hit it hard, and then it expands into the concrete and then ensures that WC does not fall down. Bidet. Bidet is not very common in India. It is common in maybe some southern part of the India, but it is very common in Europe and Gulf countries. And that's why I'm telling you the basics. It is a soil fixture or ablution fixture. It is not to be connected to the waste pipe. It should be connected to soil pipe if you have a two-pipe system. It does not have inbuilt trap, so you have to add a fixture trap on a bidet. Generally 50 mm dia fixture trap is required. It has a mixer. The hot water temperature at the mixer should not be more than 43 degrees centigrade, because it is directly hitting a very delicate part of your body. The temperature of mixed water, of course, will be as per the user comfort. The bidets are available with the mixer in the front or at the bottom of the bidet. There are different models available. And nowadays you get bidet and WC with the matching shape and color. Urinal must have integral trap. It should not have an external trap. Either a bottle trap or P trap is not permitted. It must have integral trap. As you see in the picture, the urinal over there has integral trap. Never connect the waste of the urinal to a floor trap. Firstly, it is double trapping. It is superfluous. And secondly, it will start smelling. The smell in the WC is generally not from WC. A smell in a toilet is not from WC. It is generally from urinal or urine. And so you have to make sure that urinal is of approved type with the integral trap. When you have a flush valve for the urinal, it should have a backflow prevention device. As we discussed, AVB type of backflow prevention can be added into the flush valve. The flush valve critical level should be 150 mm minimum above the top of the urinal, and the volume of the flush is generally 3.8 liter per flush. However, if you are using a stall type urinal, large urinals, you might need more flushing volume to clean the bowl. It is not only to push the solids away, but also to clean the bowl. These are all prohibited urinals. Urinal with corrugated waste pipe, urinals with auto flushing tank, urinals with trough at the bottom. These are all prohibited only to make sure that there is no foul smell and proper hygiene is maintained. Nowadays, people are recommending waterless urinals, but they are still in, I think, in the experimental stage. There are mechanical type of waterless urinals, or float type, or liquid seal type, that blue liquid seal that you get. They are all different models and different advantages, disadvantages. But you have to take a call. When you have a battery of urinal, the code says that there is a need to provide water connection for each non-water urinal due to the apprehension of malfunctioning of the non-water urinal, and eventually need to replace it with water type of urinal. So it says that before doing the tiling on the wall, please make sure that you bring in the water line to each urinal, plug it off and conceal it with the tile. Tomorrow, if you have to replace the waterless urinal with water type urinal, the water is available. There is no need to break the tiles again. Also, when you have a battery of urinals, the plumbing code says that on the upper side, upstream of the waterless urinals, you should use one water type of urinal, so that that water will push the urine from the urinals below, and it will stop, it will avoid any crystallization of urine into the urinals. These are some of the hints that are generally not followed at site, but it is provided in the code. People don't have time to read the codes because it is very boring and cumbersome, time consuming. And that's why I'm highlighting some of the provisions of the code over here. Wash basins. We have seen very different fancy wash basins, but you have to make sure that it should be of only approved materials such as ceramic, glass, and stainless steel. It has to be dense, non-absorbent, and impervious. A marble or a granite wash basin is not actually approved type of wash basin because it is not non-absorbent and it is not impervious. So there will be some fungal growth on the surface, and it is not good for our health. While selecting the wash basins, select it with the overflow only if you are going to use it for storing the water or keeping the water running, for keeping the quality of water good. You have to use the fixture trap, which is approved type of trap. We're going to look at what are the approved traps. And the one that you're seeing here is a bottle trap, typical installation. Again, generally in India, we connect the wash basin and the sink to the floor trap. It is double trapping, which is not required. It is only because you are not very confident about your own designs. So double trapping is not required. You can connect the wash basin trap directly to the drainage line. Generally, we limit the flow of water at the wash basin to 8 liters per minute. However, in public toilets, it is recommended that you should have a metered faucet. It is a factory calibrated metered faucet, either a push type or a sensor type, and it delivers only 1 liter of water per use. You don't need elaborate water flow in public toilets. It is to be used for only rinsing your hands. Bathtubs. whether it is bathtub or a shower tray, you need a trap, a fixture trap. It is not inbuilt, so you have to install the trap. The bathtub overflow connection is to be installed properly to ensure that it is protecting protected from any foul gases entering the bathtub. So it should be before the trap, not after the trap. The figure is showing you on the left is the correct way of installing it. And because of the overflow is on the trap, foul gases are not entering through overflow. Also, it is very important that the sealant is applied at the joints of wall and the bathtub so that water does not enter from the joint into the cavity below bathtub. Shower. As I said, the minimum dimension of the shower area is 800 by 800. The shower cubicle that you see in the picture has a shower tray at the bottom. The shower door should open outside, and many times we are not providing insulation to the hot water from the mixer to overhead shower head, but that is very much required. Okay, while talking about shower, you must have seen the figure on the top is very common. You have a corner inlet for the wastewater from the shower, and there is a diagonal slope shown by architect or designer. But this is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to achieve at site. But if you have a shower channel, which is shown in the floor below, you have a unilateral slope in the flooring, and the water is disposed of very quickly, very efficiently. There is no stagnation of water, and there is no leakage out of the stagnation. Generally speaking, in case of plumbing fixtures, you must avoid the backflow. Backflow happens when there is a negative pressure in the supply line. That can happen with the suddenly increased demand in the supply line. And so the used water in a wash basin or a kitchen sink can get sucked into the supply line unless there is an air gap as shown in the figure. An air gap of minimum 25 millimeters is recommended in the code. And this we discussed earlier. If you have a flush valve, you should have a atmospheric vacuum breaker into the flush valve. Even the flush tank filler and the water tank inlets must have air gap so that there is no backflow. Nowadays we have post-tension slabs, the slab with the red bands at the bottom, which indicates there is a cable, post-tension cable above it. You have to protect that cable from puncturing. So when you plan a toilet over a post-tension slab, you must have a penetration plan which shows that all core cuts of different diameters at the locations X and Y dimension of the core cut. You should get it approved from a structural consultant. Only then you should proceed with the core cutting. This is a new dimension nowadays required, and this is one exercise that is, I think, mandatory for everyone. Okay, at the same time, you should be open to new ideas, new trends. The new trend is about the dryover toilet or a pre-plumb system where the entire water supply, you are seeing a picture below, entire water supply and drainage and all plumbing fixtures are housed in that particular area, which is about 200 mm wide. It can have different shapes as you wish. You can play with that. And it has got carrier fittings on which the plumbing fixtures are fixed. The pot toilet is a prefabricated toilet, including walls, tiles, everything is fixed into the factory. And that's why you get a nice quality and also save time at the site. So they're just brought in by crane and pushed into the building structure, and the toilet is installed with just connecting water supply and drainage. Initially, when we are talking about sunken and non-sunken toilet floors, I'm just repeating the advantages of non-sunken toilet floor. It reduces dead weight of the building, it saves time of construction, and it reduces maintenance cost and inconvenience to the occupants. So I think with this, we are going to now shift to the next part, that is sanitary drainage. And when we talk about drainage, the first thing that comes to our mind is the trap, because trap is the one that is going to protect you from health hazards. Trap is the one that is allowed the toilet which was outside the building, which was away from the building, has now come inside the building next to your bedroom. And that has happened only because of a good trap. So there are different types, fixture traps and the floor traps, or integral traps as we discussed for WC and urinal. And there are approved traps and non-approved traps. Let us look at them. The picture below is showing you a fixture trap, or it can be a P-trap floor trap, P-type floor trap. The water seal there is minimum 50 millimeters. You will see that the diameter of the tailpiece, trap, and the outlet trap arm is same throughout. The diameter does not change. The U-shape at the bottom ensures that it is a self-cleansing type of trap. The solids will be pushed into the drain line very easily. So these are the 3 or 4 important aspects of a trap, approved trap. These are the integral traps, floor-mounted WC or a wall-mounted WC, or wall-hung urinal with an integral trap with 50 millimeter water seal. That is minimum, but most of the WCs have 63 mm or more. And then these are the prohibited traps. S-trap, for example, is prohibited because it creates siphonic action. There will be no water left in the trap to trap the foul gases coming from drainage line. The bottle trap also has varying water seal, and that's why it is not approved. Again, it does not have a self-cleansing design. The nanny trap has only 5 to 6 millimeters of water seal, which you can see with the yellow lines. That is the water seal in nanny traps. And so nanny traps should not be used in our plumbing system anymore. We have used it, I have used it earlier, but that was a mistake. We must learn and now improve our mistakes. A drum trap is again a prohibited trap, but it is used for some particular applications, like goldsmiths might use it, or a dental clinic might use it, because you want to store the solids coming from the plumbing fixture, but not suitable for otherwise plumbing fixtures. The bad odor or foul smell occurs mainly due to non-approved traps, such as a bottle trap or a nanny trap, or fouling surfaces of urinals. As I said, most of the smells comes from urine, not from WC. And if you have a urine trap, then you had it, you are definitely going to have foul smell. If you see the figure below, this is the tailpiece, which is slightly dipping into the water. This is a variable water seal. There is no assurance how much, because the plumber cuts the tailpiece. So if it is cut short, all the foul gases are entering into the moving part of the tailpiece and coming from your plumbing fixture. And you are inhaling those gases, falling sick. You don't know why you are sick. If the tailpiece is too long, as you see in this picture, there are solids trapped over here and there will be blockages. Water starts raising up. And again, you have a problem. So please use approved type of P-trap. The bottle trap has a flat bottom here. It is not self-cleansing type. The diameters of tailpiece, the bottle, and the outlet are different. There are many problems with the water trap. So we call it sanitary drainage. Sanitary means pure, hygienic, healthy drainage system. The one on the left, of course, is not permitted. You see the waste pipe, which is having different slopes. It is of same diameter, inadequate diameter. The water supply pipes and fittings are also not properly installed. And there is no trap on the wash basin. So this is a criminal installation. Proper P-trap is required for installing a good wash basin installation. Again, do's and don'ts, this is very important. And I think this is a common mistake happening in our toilets. We have a habit of connecting wash basin or sink on a floor trap. So what we do, we bring the waste pipe over here, and this is a typical nani trap. It doesn't matter whichever trap. And then the tiler, he finishes this part with a smooth cement finish. He cannot see what is inside. He just inserts his hand into that area and does the plaster. And ultimately, all the leakages from this surface or the bottom of the toilet starts getting into the sunken portion, and there will be leakages. To avoid that, you must have an inlet fitting, which is like this, inserted into the trap properly, and the joint from the waste connection to the trap, lower trap, is watertight. There will be no leakage. Traps for fat, oil, and grease, FOG. There are sand traps available for the stormwater drainage system. This is to avoid any sand going into the drainage line. It should be trapped at the inlet itself, a sand trap. There are petrol and diesel traps available, which can be installed in a parking lot or petrol stations, etc., so that the petrol or diesel on the floor does not get into the drainage line, because that is very hazardous. One small cigarette butt and that can be a blast. In fact, in other countries, we also have a hair trap in the salons or spas, because the cut hair should not get into the drainage line. And of course, there are grease traps, particularly for commercial kitchens, because the grease is not a good material. If that goes into the drainage line, it will have a coating on the drainage line, and the effective cross section of the drainage line will be reduced. Waste connection to floor traps. From the sink, your trap may be 40 mm dia, but the trap arm over here becomes 50 dia. This is recommended by the code. The trap arm and the waste pipe should be minimum 50 mm diameter, because there is a possibility of blockage due to solids, food waste going into the waste line. Okay, we talked about traps, but we did not talk about vent. Each fixture trap shall be protected against back siphonage and back pressure, and air circulation shall be assured throughout all parts of the drainage system by means of vent pipes. We'll ask what is back siphonage and what is back pressure. See, what happens is when you have a vertical pipe, a stack as we call it, the water is coming down in a spiral movement, and it is moving along the walls of the pipe, and there is an air core at the center. That air core has to be maintained, and when the water is coming down along the wall of the pipe, it is causing positive pressure at the bottom and negative pressure at the top. And so here you see, when there is a negative pressure, the trap seal over here gets sucked into the drainage line, and there is no trap seal available to protect you from the foul gases. If there is a positive pressure, the trap seal gets blown off. This is called blow off due to positive pressure. So the vent will ensure that the pressure on both sides of the fixture trap and the trap arm is same, It is not varying, and it provides the prohibits siphon due to negative pressure and blow off due to positive pressure. So if we go back again, this is the vent pipe. It is installed in such a way that the water does not enter the vent pipe. Vent should remain dry always. And so the Y is installed in the opposite direction of the flow. So each trap needs venting. The vent should be installed, for example, if this is the trap, vent should be installed 2 times diameter away from the trap. There should not be any crown venting. There should not be vent right here above the trap. That is called crown venting. And this is the air admittance valve. It admits air, and you don't have to, in that case, install a vent pipe. But this is an optional way. It partially eliminates need of venting. Another important thing about the vent is that the vent branch should be above the flood level rim, minimum 150 mm above the flood level rim of the plumbing fixture. So the vent branch should be above the flood level so that the water, if there is any blockage, water does not enter the branch line of the vent. For food and beverage handling, you must have an indirect waste so that this pipe remains hygienic and does not infect or contaminate the food stored in the plumbing fixture. This is particularly for commercial kitchens. And this is called as indirect waste connection because there is an air gap between the waste pipe and the drainage line. 2-pipe system. This takes more space. It takes more pipes and fittings, but it is safer, particularly when there is a flexibility required or when there is an additional safety required. You use 2-pipe system. This is 2-pipe system with a vent stack, common vent stack. So all plumbing fixtures are vented as required. There can be independent vent stacks for soil and waste separately, and this is required particularly for larger toilets where there is a requirement because the fixtures are placed at long distances. 1-pipe fully vented system. Again, you will see that all these are the pictures from our National Building Code, and now all the drainage lines are at the ceiling of the toilet below. So there is no sunken toilet for sure now. 1-pipe fully vented system can be used particularly when there are repetitive toilets on the floors above. The Uniform Plumbing Code is referring to 1-pipe fully vented system throughout the code, unless there is specially mentioned. This is the 1-pipe partially vented system recommended by NBC. Only the soil fittings, that is WC and urinal, are vented. This is a single stack system where there is no need of venting the plumbing fixtures. The pipe is sized in such a way that it provides adequate air and no need of additional vent pipes. However, it needs to be carefully done. You need skilled labor for installing it because of the need of proper fittings and fixtures. Single stack system with aerators. This is the aerator fitting. This is to be installed at each floor, and then when it comes at the bottom, you have a pressure relief line to which the ground floor toilets can be connected. They are not to be connected to the main line because of the hydraulic jump. Different drainage systems. Pipe materials are approved by the code: UPVC, polypropylene, high density polyethylene, medium density polyethylene, cast iron spun. Cast iron, that is the black color pipe, spun is the red color pipe. Cast iron hubless pipes without collar, stainless steel pipes, stoneware glaze pipes, or RC pipes. While selecting, you must look at the properties such as thermal expansion, weight, ease of joint, sound. Sound is very important because now pipes are into the ceiling of toilet below. Seismic requirements in some areas and sub-zero temperatures are to be considered if you are installing it in those areas. Maybe the metal pipes may not be suitable over there. Pipe fittings, use of sanitary tea over here, or a swept tea as it is called, is recommended so that you don't have to use 45-degree bend and a Y. You can eliminate that. A double fixture fitting is recommended for back-to-back connection of the plumbing fixtures, so that the wastewater from here does not enter the waste pipe of the toilet behind it. When it is coming to horizontal connection, you should have large radius beds or 245 degrees rather than having an elbow for a smooth flow of the liquid in the pipe. And vertical to horizontal connection, you have to have a proper long radius bend with enlarger, because the velocity here is much higher and the velocity here is reduced to maybe 1/6, so you might need a larger diameter. So if you don't have a sanitary T, then you might need a 45-degree bend and a Y. That is what the illustration shows. When you have a back-to-back connection, generally what we do is we have one T connection and one 45-degree bend and a Y connection. But this is the large space required for making these connections. Generally, this space is not available. So you might have, you might use a double fixture fitting in the limited space and save cost and space both together. Yeah, this is the hydraulic jump I was talking about. When the water comes down and changes the direction, there is a hydraulic jump that happens between the distance of 10 times the diameter of the pipe. And here there is a positive pressure which is causing hydraulic jump. So generally you might have expanders or reducers and then two 45-degree bends and then change the direction from vertical to horizontal. Depending on the pipe material, pipe joints will change. But if you have electric or socket fusion joints, as it is required for some HDPE pipes and fittings, you have to ensure that such connection is available at site. Just a small hint, when you have a O-ring joint for UPVC pipes, vertical stack, you must ensure that there is an air gap, not air gap, a gap between pipe and fitting, pipe and collar, so that there is a movement allowed, expansion of the pipe is permitted for certain extent. Solvent cement joint need not have that kind of gap. In the drainage line, you must have cleanouts at the end of each branch or the main line, so that the maintenance is much easier. Without cleanouts, you might have to break the pipeline or break the toilets in some areas. Also, the cleanout should be head up like this, so that you can remove the cap and do the rodding to remove the blockage. If it is in the line of the drainage line, when you remove the cap, all the sewage will fall on your head. So you have to be careful. That's all. I think these are the main lines, main points I wanted to tell you. Again, the side inlet of the rainwater is not recommended because it is not very efficient, whereas the vertical inlet is better for higher efficiency. So that's it. Thank you so much. I'll be happy to take the questions. Sheetal bhai.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. It is indeed a very detailed plumbing do's and don'ts from you, sir. It is always a pleasure to hear you on this subject. I must invite Dipen sir and Ritesh bhai for the question answer session. And I hope everybody will be ready with your questions. This will be the revision. Please do join. Dipen sir, Pritesh bhai.
Yeah. Sir, we have one question that we have observed that the depth of the pre-trap and multi-trap is very high and it is very difficult to maintain in case of suspended plumbing. What is the solution?
Sorry, I was struggling to remove my screen. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We have observed that the depth of P-trap or multi-trap is very high in case of suspended plumbing and it is very difficult to maintain. Any solution for this?
Well, the depth is not very high. It is only ensuring 50 millimeters water seal as recommended by the code. And it shall not be reduced. So if you have a 450 mm space in the ceiling, that accommodates the regular P-trap, 3-inch or 4-inch, 75 or 100 mm diameter, and that still allows adequate headroom below the false ceiling.
Yeah, but sir, what he is asking is that 450 mm when the P-trap is gone down by 450 mm from the toilet floor level, it is very difficult to maintain because normally P-trap, it doesn't have any door for the maintenance.
Actually, yes, P-trap does not have door for maintenance, but you have a clean out.
I'll answer that. I'll answer that.
Yeah, so you have a clean out for maintenance.
No,
yes,
I'll answer that question. See, in such scenario, the P-traps are always kept only 50 mm below the soffit of the slab. You are not required to lower down the P-traps right up to the beam bottom or right up to 300 or 400 mm below the soffit of the slab. The moment you are having it only 50 to 70 mm below the soffit, it can be easily maintained from the top because the maintenance arm required is only 150 mm plus 75 mm.
Yeah, but I think he is right. Why? Because when you try to connect the wash basin drain to the extension piece above the trap,
yeah, so that requires 3 inches.
Plumbing. Yeah, then
let
the
me
depth of the P-trap will be high.
Let me add something.
It requires 100 mm on the top of the P-trap.
Let me add something. I think that the participant is thinking that he has to put his hand into the trap to clean it. Whereas actually, if you have seen the snaking equipment, it is a flexible spring that goes into the line to remove the blockage. So that snaking requirement can go anywhere to any depth and any length. One need not worry about the depth or length of the drainage.
Okay.
Hello. I have one more question from Mr. Mickey Kedam. In which international standard the use of aerator is approved?
No, you are not audible.
Because your mic is not audible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll take up. Don't worry, I'll take up. Which is the good solution for high-rise building? Single stack, 2-stack, or fully vented, partly vented? And can we do single stack system in case of low-rise building up to 5 floors?
In fact, the National Building Code is recommending that all 5 types of drainage systems are approved. You can use any one. The single stack, as I said, is ideal for high-rise buildings where there is a repetitive toilets one above other. And it will definitely save time, if not money, because single stack requires sanitary teas and special fittings like that. It needs extra attention to take one pipe drop at every plumbing fixture and things like that. Also, the stack diameter will be more because it has to accommodate venting also. But forgetting the cost, it is a convenience and a space which is saved. And so single stack I would recommend for all high-rise buildings.
Okay. Now there is one question from your friend Mr. Sabir Malwawala. I think that is for Huliot people. but we can also reply, what is the shelf life of the treated water?
Shelf life of treated water.
Yeah.
Did we discuss this topic today?
No, but Williard people, they make the presentation. So I think for them, this question is subject.
Okay. So he means to say reclaimed water, not treated water.
Yeah, reclaimed water, recycled water.
Yeah. Tarun, you want to answer?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll answer. Sir, the treated water is usually what we do. The treated water gets out STP, which we use for the daily requirements. Actually, that could be for flushing, gardening, or floor washing. So there is no as such shelf life. We did an experiment. We had some. We have done one installation of 100 m³ per day in Baroda in association with Baroda Municipal Corporation. So we kept the treated water for 4 months in India, and then it was taken to Israel. There was no even algae formation, nothing. The treated water quality is as it is. Only the DO level dropped down by 0.3 ppm. That's it. So it remained fresh as a like a drinking water only.
I think it depends on even how you are giving the tertiary treatment, chlorine dosing, UV. Maybe that depends on that also.
No, they are not. They are not giving the tertiary treatment.
No, sir. In our system, no tertiary treatment is required because membrane is itself a part of that system.
I saw your figure coliform is also less than 100.
Yeah, it's also less than 100, sir.
So it is a reclaimed water. It is not potable water.
Yeah, it can be used for all non-potable purposes.
Yes.
But again, I'll just clarify one thing. Normally, with the treated water, recycled water, post 24 hours, the BOD level starts increasing. So it's always better to use the treated water within 24 hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir. The STPs with the continuous reuse of treated water is always suggested.
Yeah, that is always recommended.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This we have answered.
Next question.
Why aerator or solvent fittings required, which is not recognized by standard EN 12056, promoted on such discussion? It is not part of any international standard. This is from Mr. Amit Deshmukh.
Okay. Firstly, it is part of international standard, so that should not be there. We are not biased. We are only, as I said initially, we are presenting what is provided in the Uniform Plumbing Code. So there is a special chapter on solvent systems.
Okay.
It is a part of the code, and we are not biased. We are only showing, this presentation has been shown by Mr. Subhash Deshpande as per the systems available in the market.
Yeah.
We don't recommend that you use this particular system or a particular type of drainage. It is always the designer's choice to be used.
In fact, now solvents are available in many different materials: polypropylene, UPVC, and HDP.
And then we normally say it as an aerator, not a solvent, because solvent is a trademark name. We always talk it as an aerator.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, sir, we have one question that we have noticed that in North India, in low-rise residential buildings up to 2 or 3 floors, 2 separate pipes are used for drainage, one for soil and one for waste. But they are not vented. Is this allowed? And if venting is not needed, then why not use single stack system?
For 2 or 3 floors.
2 or 3 floors.
Yeah. You need not do venting separately, because the positive and negative pressure, as I talked, which create in the stack, may not happen to that extent in a low-rise building, and so venting may not be required. The trap seal will not be damaged with a low-rise stack, so you can get away with that. Yeah. But in Pune, I know for any building above 15 meters height, venting is mandatory for soil fixtures.
Okay. Now we have one question. single stack and double stack system, which is economical? I think this is not the, we'll not take up this question. Yeah. Another question that how much sunk is required for residential toilet?
As I said, minimum 400. Whether it is residential or commercial, minimum 400 to accommodate P-trap. And there is no other option. There is no other option. People start negotiating. Can it be 300 instead of 200? So there is no negotiation on this.
Okay. Now, one question is from Mr. Manikam, is from Coimbatore. I am not able to understand, but I'll just going through the question. While planning a new toilet construction, in selecting a single siphonic closet, which size trap should we choose? 220 mm or 300 mm?
Okay, this is a very intelligent question, actually.
Okay.
A siphonic closet, no?
Yeah, siphonic closet.
Yeah. So if it is a siphonic closet, which trap he said?
P-trap 220 mm or 300 mm? While choosing the water closet siphonic system, which trap should we select?
No, actually, the siphonic WC has a inbuilt trap itself.
Yeah, but I think he has two options, maybe 220 mm and 300 mm. So which should we select?
No, it's not correct question. The siphonic WCs suck the liquids and solids with the siphonic action, and that allows you to save some more water. Instead of 6 liters, even with 5 liters, the flushing can happen. Siphonic WCs are very common in Europe.
Yeah, correct. Okay. One question, can you tell more about grease trap and which company is supplying? Now, we will not cover the company. What is the difference between grease trap and grease interceptor?
Okay. Actually, grease trap, this is just a layman's language. Grease trap is for a smaller unit. Grease interceptor is more sophisticated mechanical device with electronics involved into it. So grease interceptor, it intercepts the grease, removes it automatically from the grease trap, and collects it separate.
Okay. I think we have one more question. What is the ideal minimum and maximum volume of water required for flushing purpose in a residential project? Question is from Sanya Gupta, and she is talking about per flush.
Water per flush, maximum?
Minimum and maximum.
Okay. Maximum is 6 liters per flush. Minimum, we have gone to 4.5 with the star rating. But it is not very common. Only star rated WCs are manufactured, where the WC and the flush tank is supplied by the same company, and they ensure that flushing performance is happening to the satisfactory requirement.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's we have covered most of the which are relevant.
For all the participants, this episode is recorded, and you can find it on IPA website and Facebook too for your revision.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Subhash bhai. Thank you, Pritesh bhai.
Thank you.
So, at the end of the webinar, I must invite Pratik sir. Pratik bhai, please, I invite you for vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Sheetal bhai. Thank to all. Thank you so much, Subhash Deshpande ji, participant, panelists, for a wonderful webinar on do's and don'ts of Plum Part 1. It was indeed an informative webinar, well participated by people who wish to improve and adapt a scientific technique in the plumbing systems. I thank IPA Ahmedabad Chapter Committee for initiating such a knowledge-based webinar, and we on continuing such webinar in future also. special thanks to Shivaji for sparing your valuable time, always been supporting and offering his in-depth knowledge and experience of all these years to the plumbing fraternity. To continue our knowledge sharing webinar, second part of do's and don'ts of plumbing we have scheduled on 1st of August, and I request all participants to wholeheartedly participate, and it will be in knowledge sharing subjects again and with a good speaker also. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks to all. Thanks to all.
Thank you very
And the
much.
next webinar will be on 1st of August
Thank
for
you.
do and don'ts part 2.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Right. Thanks.
Thanks, Subhash sir.
Welcome. Always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Subhashji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Subhash.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just ending the meeting now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tarun.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks to all.
Yeah.